Fine. So where we stopped in previous class, let me erase this one.
In Mangalore.
Sorry. We discussed about basic commands, right? Like basic commands like ls, mkdir, and rmdir, rm-rf, cat, ls-lrt, which is which is nothing but long listing. Ls. Yeah. Have we gone through any other commands except ls, mkdir, rmdir, rm, cat, touch, empty file creation?
Chmod.
Sorry?
Chmod. Change mode.
chmod. Yep.
Yeah.
Changing modification like file permissions, right? File and folder
Yeah.
permissions.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Let's open my terminal. Have you guys tried those? I think you already have a running Kali Linux machines on your system. Have you tried those basic commands? Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So what we have verified, PWD stands like where exactly we are, or where exactly am I? I'm in /home/Kali. And if you give who am I, it is going to verify under which user you're logged in. So what you suppose if I created a Sai, username is Sai, if I logged in like that, if you couldn't find out, you can give like who am I, it will show you what kind of user. For suppose if you logged in as a root user also, it will show you like that. Okay. So whenever you logged into your terminal, if you want to run everything without any issue, you have to switch as a root user. That means you need to switch sudo su hyphen. Usually we need to give su, that is nothing but a switching user. But why we need to add sudo? Because only the root user have the super admin privileges to run everything. The thing is, maybe a user like a Kali, or if you are going to create any kind of user also, that user can able to create or delete some kind of files or maybe something like that. But if you want to modify, or if you want to run a crucial commands or confidential commands or important commands, or if you want to do any important things which is related to the operating system, or maybe if you want to modify uh, like the configuration files of the operating system kind of stuff, you need some kind of permission level. So the actual normal users cannot do that, but still you want to do as a normal user like Kali or maybe Sai or a Daniel, instead of root user you need to add sudo command will give you a privilege to run anything like a root user. Okay, if you if while you are running like if you want to switch as root user, let me give su hyphen, yes, it is asking password, let me give. Okay, authentication failure, sorry. Usually what we encounter, sometimes it will directly reject, there is no kind of permission, or maybe user restricted, or maybe any kind of error it will throw because you haven't added sudo. As a normal Kali user, you can't switch to root user or something. So you need to add sudo. Okay, add sudo in each and every command. It will give you a temporary root privilege to run or to execute a specific command. So I give sudo su hyphen. You can see I gave the password. You can see it is switched now. Previously, we have seen this authentication failure or something, but some in some computers, in some flavors, it will show like unauthorized access or maybe user not permitted. So those kind of issues also will come. But the end, everything is comes under, or everything is considered because you guys are not using sudo, because you are a normal user. You want to switch as a root user, but you are not adding a sudo in front of the command. So once you add the command, it will give you a temporary root access to switch, or maybe temporary root access to run or execute that specific command. Sometimes you have to cat a configuration file. For suppose in slash etc, there are configuration files is there. If you want to watch those configuration files, you can't directly do cat that file name as a Kali user. It won't allow you to open it, or maybe it will allow you to read it, but you can't able to modify it. That means you can't edit that file. Who can edit that file? Once you switch it as a root user, then you can edit that file. And also, maybe you'll get it out why I need to switch as a root. Do I can't give an access to Kali user to like a root user privileges? Yes, we can do. We can able to give the root privileges, direct root privileges to the Kali also. That is nothing but the same thing. There is a slash etc slash sudo vers file is there, that is representing to root. Like the root actual default root user data inside that file is there. You have to add the user whichever you want. Like you are expecting Kali wants Kali needs to be a root user, or Sai needs to be a root user, or maybe Daniel needs to be a root user. Your user details needs to be appended in that specific file, and then save it and then restart the entire system. Then it is going to be the Kali or maybe Sai or Daniel also act like a root user. After that, you don't need to run sudo in front of any commands as a Sai or a Daniel or Kali. So only root user is having the super privileges to run everything. So I switched as a root user. Okay, now I can able to run anything. I don't need to use sudo. Okay. So we have seen something which is uh, file permissions. Let me do ls. Is there anything? Nothing is there. If I do ls hyphen lrt also, nothing is there. But there is something in Linux. There are some hidden files also there. Okay, hidden files means you can't able to see normally. For that, you need to do ls hyphen a. If I hit enter, you can see. Previously, you cannot see in this. You can see ls hyphen lrt won't show these hidden files. Okay, dot bash hrc, okay, dot cache, dot face dot icon, dot local, dot ssh, dot zsrc, dot profile, dot history, dot face, whatever it is. It is started with the dot. Okay. So if you want to know, or if you want to verify the hidden files, you need to give ls hyphen a, or else you can give ls hyphen la. Okay, long listing hidden files. Okay, like this you can see. You can observe one thing: the privileges only having root. Okay, the privileges whether as a user or as a group also, only root can be accessible these hidden files. You cannot do, or you cannot modify these things. For that, you have to run some commands to modify this, but I'm not modifying this. Let me go back to, sorry. Just a second. Yeah, sorry, paste glitch. So yeah, if I do ls hyphen la or else ls hyphen a, so these all are also hidden files. Okay, in Kali directory. Where am I? I'm in Kali directory. Not I'm in a Kali user. I'm not a root user now. I've just restarted my terminal. You can see I'm a Kali user now. I'm not a root user. Inside the Kali directory also there are some dot files, like hidden files are there, which can be showcased at ls hyphen a. Okay. Uh, Let me do ls hyphen lrt. Okay. File one is there. So if I want to modify the if I want to modify the permissions of this specific file, okay, I want to give the full permissions to both user and group, but I want to give the only read permission to the public. So give me the number what I need to put here. User have full access, group have full access, but um, public have only read access. So what I need to give the number here? Anyone?
772
7
4 or 2 the range.
No, it's 4 only. If you
The
give
4 2
2, no, it's 4. That's it. Because 4 represents read. Okay, if you give 2 instead of 4, what it is? It is write only. It won't allow you to read, but you can modify. If I give 1 instead of 4 or 2 or maybe, it will just allow you to execute it. Like public can execute that file, that can run that file, but cannot read, cannot modify. Okay, if I give 6, that means I can read, I can modify. That means read and write. 4 plus 2 is 6. Okay, if I give 5, that means read plus execute. That means 4 plus 1. 4 is representing read, 1 is representing execute. So the public cannot modify it, but they can read it, they can execute it. Yep. So file 1, hit enter. You can see chmod. Oh, sorry, I gave the wrong command. 774. Yes, it is fine. If I hit less, or else you can see then color is changed because the user got the full access to this file. This is an executable file now. Once the user got the full access, maybe it looks like in a green or something. Okay, so let's see. Let me open a document. Yeah, I'll share you this. You can see chmod changes permissions. So usually what we do, user or group or others may be public. Whatever you do, UGO or like whatever it is, user group or public UGP. Usually it stands for chmod 755. Some file refers. 7 is read, write, execute. 4, 2, 1. And group is read and execute. 4 plus 1. The same way, the public also. Okay, you can easily understand this one. 644 means 6 plus, sorry, 4 plus 2, that like read and write. That's why it is 6. And 4 means read and read. That's it. Let's go to the owner. We just seen the modifying the file permissions, like who are going to giving the access to read, write, execute permissions of a specific file. We can able to apply the same thing to the directories also. We can do that. So let's decide how to modify the ownership of the file. Let's see something. ls or else ls hyphen lrt. We can see who is owner and group. Kali. By default, it is taken Kali. for owner and group of the specific file. If I want to modify something, okay, if I want to modify something, I have to run some commands. Let me show you. You have to give chown. Previously, we gave chmod, changing or modification, something like that. It is just chown. Okay, the ownership we are going to modify. Okay, chown. For suppose Sairam is a user, I want to add to specific file. Let's consider if I want to modify the file here, I want to give chown. I am going to give root instead of, because already root is there, instead of Kali, and then I'm going to write file1 or something, hit enter. You can see operation not permitted, because you are just modifying, you're modifying the ownership of a file. For that you need a root privilege actually, so you can't run it directly. Maybe you can create a file, you can delete a file, you can modify a file. That means you can add some data, you can modify some data inside a file, that is fine, but the permission level you cannot modify as a normal user. That's why you need to use sudo chown root file1. If I hit enter, it is asking password, I'm giving. Now if I do ls hyphen lrt, you can see who is the user who are need to be access this file. Only root user can able to access this file. For suppose if I do cat file1, it's not showing because nothing is there. Let me write something. Vi file, sorry. Okay, let me do the cat. Okay, it is showcasing actually, but sometimes it is going to deny, like some kind of files like .exe files, some extension files. Maybe you created it as a Kali user or maybe a normal user, but after you are modifying the ownership of the file, sometimes you'll end up with some kind of errors. At that point, you just need to add sudo. That's it. It can be open. Let's assume. Let me go to sudo su hyphen. I'm switching as a root user. ls hyphen lrt. Nothing is there because I'm in pwd. Okay, slash root. So if I do cd enter, it is nothing. If I want to go to the actual root user thing, ls, you can see these are the actual programming details of the operating system. Okay, slash root is representing the root users directory. Again, the single slash representing also root users directory, but it comes as a root users details or privileges under this directory. But this individual slash represents the entire operating system, or you can consider this is the mother of the entire operating system. This is the mother folder or directory of the entire operating system. So the programming files, when it comes to your C drive, the C drive slash C or something, if I'm going to C drive preflog something, you can see Windows C or Windows C colon. This is representing the root. The same way we are seeing here the slash. Okay, inside there is a bin, home, library, mnt, something is there. So if I want to go to etc, so cat, or else if I go to cd etc, hit enter. If I do ls, you can see multiple things are here. Okay, let me show you something. Instead of this, ls hyphen lrt. Oh, it is too messy. Okay, instead of this, let me do cat pass wd something. Yeah, you can see whenever we are going to create a user, okay, it should be stored in this path. Let me the password, or you can consider it /etc, sorry, /passwd, not word, passwd. This is the path. Okay, this is the path. It is nothing but inside a root slash like a C drive, inside a /etc. This is a configuration files details. Inside the etc, you can see the password file. So if you want to watch this one, you can see cat password something because you are a user, like a root user. But if I want to, let me, you don't need a sudo. I think sudo curly. Okay. So if I want to do cat /etc/passwd, enter, you can see this, the same file. You can see the same file, but I'm not switched into root. You can see I'm showing you I'm in a Kali directory. Okay, /home/Kali directory, but still I can able to view this thing because the default user while we are creating it is having some level of accesses. We can able to view this one. Okay, let's do one thing. If I do vi/etc, oh, sorry, /etc/password, it is open. If I click enter, you can see warning, changing a read only file. You can able to see the bottom, changing a read only file. Why it is showing read only? I cannot able to write, I cannot able to, sorry. Okay, I've written something, ZSH something is there. If I give space and n something, if I want to execute wq, you can see it is a read only. Option is set to add to override. That is nothing but it is a read only file. I don't have a permission. So what I do again, I'm just going to quit it, hit enter. So I haven't done anything. If I do the cat password, you can see nothing is added. Okay, or else ls/etc/passwd. It's not showing. Okay, actually it needs to be show the details ls-lrt/edc/password. Yeah, now it is showing. You can see the user, like a Kali user, can able to read, write, but cannot execute. Executing means we cannot save, we cannot run this file. Okay, if I couldn't save, what is the meaning of writing? It won't be saved. If I write 1,000 lines also, you need to be quit, or else if you want to add something to that specific file, you need to become a root user, or you need to get a root privileges. You can see
Read
both.
only.
Yeah, read only, file only. We can't modify anything here as a Kali user. Okay, this is comes under that. Let me run this one. So we have seen this owner. So if you want to change the group also, okay, if you want to change something related to group, previously we have added a root into the Kali the file which is created by Kali user. So if I want to modify the group also, group is also having Kali. If I want to modify into root also, again you can be able to give chgrp. CHGRP is representing the group, changing the group ownership. This is a actual ownership like user or maybe owner related CHOWN, CHOWN or chown. CHGRP representing the group. Command is same. You don't need to modify much things here. You just need to modify basic command like either CHOWN or CHGRP. The command is same. If I'm going to CHGRP, okay, going to root and then file something one. If I hit enter, is it going to work or not?
No.
No. Why?
First, you need a root privilege.
Exactly. Perfect. You guys in the same matter. So it is saying operator not permitted. Let me add sudo here and then hit enter. It is asking the password. That's fine. If I give ls-lrt, now you can see the file is having both root privileges. Okay. So the first way what we have observed, like how to add or maybe remove the permissions of a file or a folder, like reading, executing, writing kind of thing to user, group and public or maybe others. Now we have seen the user and group privileges of the actual file, like who needs to be access this. As a root only you have to be run this file. As a root only, as a root group only you have to execute this file. So I can't modify this one. If I give vi file 1, you can see by default it is showing read only. If I add something, same thing it is asking, changing a read only. If I, sorry, if I want to do this, you can see read only file. So I can't do anything at this moment. So I'm quitting. So this way we are going to adding and modifying the permissions of a directory or a file. Okay. Let's go to the removal things like okay. If I want to add recursively, okay, sometimes what it is saying you can't able to do, or maybe you need read privileges, or maybe some kind of errors it will throw. Okay, so at that point of time you have to give -r. It is going to recursively do that. The first thing what we have done, it is just nothing but we have added the user details to the particular file, or maybe the particular file user is going to modify it. Okay, you can see the below ch1 user colon group name. It is nothing but adding the user to a specific group. Okay, it is nothing but adding a specific group, like a user is going to be added to specific group. Let's assume Kali is by default, while we are creating a Kali user, by default it is creating a Kali group. If I want to create a new group, if I'm going to create a new user, let's assume, okay, it is going to by default create a new group also. So instead of Kali, like the Kali, I want to add the Kali user to my new group. I'm going to create a Sai user. The Sai user is by default going to create a Sai group. That means the group name is Sai, username is Sai, then by default it is taking the group name is also Sai. So the Kali I want to add from there to here also. The Kali user wants to access these group details also, whatever belongs to the specific Sai group also, the Kali user can able to access. How we can do this? Okay, how we can do this? Can anyone have any idea?
Sorry, come again, sorry.
I would like to create a new user, or I would like to create a new group, and also I would like to assign the previous user to the new group. Previous user to new group. You can see who am sorry. So I'm Kali. So I'm referring. You can see the Kali is /home/Kali. Okay, By default, the group name is also Kali. You can see Kali. This is belongs to username. The last one belongs to group name. Okay, the last name belongs to group name. That is nothing but I have added by default while creating a Kali user. By default, you are giving the username is Kali. It is going to create a group also by default. So now I want to create a new user. If I create a new user like Sai, that is also again it is going to create a new group for Sai. The same name itself, the group name is also taking as Sai. So after creating, I want to add my Kali to my Sai group instead of Kali. Or maybe the Kali can able to access both Kali group and my Sai new group.
Mad user. So
Similar actually. Okay, let's do one thing. If I want to add a user like user add, I'm going to hit enter Sai. It is permission denied. So I'm going to use sudo user add Sai. It's done. So I want to verify it. The password you can see. You can see by default it is created Sai group. Or else if I do pwd, it is Kali. If I want to switch to sudo su Sai, it's throwing error. Let me check it. Okay, it is throwing error. Fine. Sudo su Sai. Okay, permission in because I don't have permissions. That's why it's not giving the access. If I hit enter. Okay. So I've created. Just a second. Yeah, we can able to see. We can see the user Sai is created. By default, Sai is there. So I do one thing. I'm trying to create a group also. It is going to take it or not. Sudo group add. Again, I give the same name. It is already exist. It is saying. Okay, it is already existed. You can see one thing here. I'm sorry, not here. You can see what is the commands referring. The first one is referring changing the ownership of a file. The second one is referring, that means the user is going to modify it. Previously it is a root user or Kali user. If I give Sairam, Sairam is going to be the root user to the specific file or maybe the only user to execute this file. If I want to add, like if I'm going to give Sai underscore group name, okay, after file something like that, it is going to modify, like it is going to add that specific user to the specific group. Okay, specific user to the specific group or something. Don't confuse. Let's go. We'll verify one by one. Okay, what I am going to do, sudo. Okay. User mod. Previously, we are giving user add. User add refers it is going to creating a new user. User mod refers it is going to modifying the existing user or maybe group details. Okay. So I'm going to give user mod hyphen small a capital G. Okay, small a capital G. I'm going to give Kali as the group name and then Sai is the username. If I hit enter, so what I give, I'm modifying the default user of like the specific one. Let me re-verify it. Oh, it's not appended. It needs to be appended. It's not appended. Let me check. Kali. Okay, I'll do one thing. If I hit groups or else group, oh sorry, sudo group. Okay, it is in a root. Mhm. Okay, there is a mistake happened actually. What I did is instead of I'm adding the Sai to the Kali group, I added the Kali to the Sai group. Okay, there is a mistake happened. So what I have to do is let me rewrite the same command here. So instead of this, I'm going to add Sai and then Kali. If I hit enter, let me do the groups sudo groups Kali. Oh my god. Not it's not allowing me. Okay. The Kali is not allowing me. Okay. It's okay. Okay. We'll deep dig about this again and again. So what we have seen, we are going to see in the CHOWN that is nothing but a changing, okay, changing the ownership of a file, right? Changing the ownership of a file. Or suppose if you want to do chgrp, it is nothing but changing the group of a file. Okay. So we have seen ch1, chgrp. So let me, if anything happens, for suppose like if you are going to adding those kind of things, add hyphen capital R for recursively adding those things. Okay, that is fine. And let me show you how to delete as user. If I'm going to give sudo user del, okay, Sai. Okay, group is not removed because it has another number. Okay, the same way I'm going to add hyphen R recursively here also. Oh, by default it is deleted. So let me check with the previous commands, is it existing or not there. Whenever you created, you deleted whatever, yeah, it is gone. You just need to use this command. You need to verify /etc/password. So let's assume there is a file in a path. It represents, let me show you. Suppose there is a path like a HTML folder is there. Usually the HTML folder is in a /var /ww/html and then /html dot, sorry, index dot html. So the page we can able to see, let's assume, I'll show you. You can see the Ashok IT dashboard. This is a HTML only. The previous, behind this one, like the behind this entire page, there is a HTML only there. The hypertext transfer protocol is there. So if you want to, okay, if you want to see that exact file in this system, you need to give this entire path. If you can give cat space this entire path, it is simply going to showcase this file. You don't need to do cd where cd www cd html and then you have to do cat index.html. You don't need to do that. Whenever you are in a Linux operating system, you need to just do the cat and give the entire path. Okay, if you have a read access at least, then it will be shown to you. Okay, if the user have the read access at least, it can be showcased like this way. The what I'm doing here is the same way. I'm just doing the cat /etc/passwd, the password file. So I'm not switching to root user. I'm not going to the etc. I'm not going to doing the cat this password. I'm simply doing the cat this entire path. It is showcasing me what users are there, what kind of details are there like this. Okay, so let me give something. So it is user del is referring to deleting a user. If I give group del, grp del, sorry, it's a group del, not grp. Yeah, group del psi. It is executed. Again, we are going to verify it there only. Is it there or not? Nothing is here. Or else we can see sudo groups. There is no groups are there. We can verify in this way. So we have seen these things chown, chgrp, and also user add and user mod and user del. Usually we haven't explored the user modification perfectly. Maybe we have seen user add and user del. Creation deletion is happened. Okay, maybe group also like group add. Okay, group del. Both things we understand. Maybe group mod you guys may be confused. So what I'm going to do tomorrow, I'm going to showcase you in how many ways these user mod, group mod, okay, are like these other things, how we are going to impact. We can able to see that is nothing but there is a group is sai, I mean user is sai there, again group is also there. So kali is a user and again the kali is having group. Okay, um devi is a user, again devi is a group. So what I am going to do tomorrow, I am going to add this sai user to the devi group. It can able to access sai group and devi group also. If any files is created by devi, like a user devi, it is already existing the permissions of the devi group also. So that means sai can able to access this devi group files and folders also. How it is going to happen, we are going to see some tomorrow. Okay, and also sometimes what is happen, if I'm going to delete the user, okay, if I'm going to delete user del sai something, the traces like by default it is created group, right? Those kind of traces will be there, or maybe some kind of things are attached to some files or something, the traces will be there. So how we are going to remove the traces completely, instead of I'm deleting simply user, how I am going to delete the entire thing? So completely vanish, how to vanish those things, I'll show you that tomorrow. Okay, and also we'll go ahead for some network commands too. I'll show you some network related commands, like how we are going to check our system related stuff, and also some other systems. For suppose if I want to check the Daniel's computer is in a active state or not, how we are going to check it, and then how we are going to check the network modifications happening, or network how it is going to impact, how it is going to connect, and also we are going to explore how we are going to check the CPU, disk, and everything. So majority networking commands will focus on tomorrow. So the first 10 minutes I'm going to explain the group related, user related stuff. After that we'll go for networking commands and all. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And day after tomorrow we'll go with the remaining networking or remaining networks related majority commands, what exactly we are going to use. And after that we'll go for some other things like Linux related stuff, Linux related tools and services we'll explore day after tomorrow.